It contains the universe. Science. I was a scientist before becoming a monk. I explored the Zen-like world of theoretical physics at Cambridge University in England. Science and religion, I have found, hold many things in common, one of which is dogma. A delightfully descriptive saying I remember from my student days was, "The eminence of a great scientist is measured by the length of time he or she obstructs progress in their field." At a recent debate in Australia between science and religion, at which I was a speaker, I took a poignant question from a member of the audience. "When I look through a telescope at the beauty of the stars," said the devout Catholic woman, "I always feel that my religion is threatened." "Madam, when a scientist looks down the other end of a telescope, from the big end to the small end," I replied, "to gaze upon the one who is looking, then science is threatened." The science of silence. Perhaps it is better to stop arguing altogether. A famous Eastern proverb goes, "He who knows doesn't say. He who says doesn't know." This might sound profound until you work out that whoever said it, therefore, didn't know. Blind faith. When we get old, our eyesight fades, our hearing goes, our hair falls out, our false teeth go in, our legs become weak, and our hands sometimes shake. But the one part of our anatomy that seems to get ever stronger with each passing year is our talkative mouth. This is why the most verbose of our citizens may qualify as politicians only in their later years. A king many centuries ago had trouble with his ministers. They would argue so much that almost nothing was decided. The ministers, following the most ancient of political traditions, each claimed that they alone were right and everyone else was wrong. However, when the resourceful king organised a special public festival, they all agreed to take the day off. The festival was a spectacular affair held in the large stadium. There was singing and dancing, acrobatics, clowns, music, and much else. Then, for the finale in front of the huge crowd, with the ministers occupying the best seats, of course, the king himself led his royal elephant into the centre of the arena. Following the elephant came 7 blind men, known in the city to have been blind since birth. The king took the hand of the first blind man, helped him feel the elephant's trunk, and told him that this is an elephant. He then helped the second blind man feel the elephant's tusk, the third one its ears, the fourth the head, the fifth the torso, the sixth the legs, and the seventh the tail, telling each one that this was an elephant. Then he returned to the first blind man and asked him to say in a loud voice what an elephant was. "In my considered and expert opinion," said the first blind man, feeling the trunk, "I state with utmost certainty that an elephant is a species of snake, genus Python asiaticus." "What twittering twaddle!" exclaimed the second blind man, feeling a tusk. "An elephant is much too solid to be a snake. In actual fact, and I am never wrong, it is a farmer's plough." "Don't be ridiculous," jeered the third blind man, feeling an ear. "An elephant is a palm leaf fan." "You incompetent idiots!" laughed the fourth blind man, feeling the head. "An elephant is obviously a large water jar." "Impossible! Absolutely impossible!" ranted the fifth blind man, feeling the torso. "An elephant is a huge rock." "Bulldust!" shouted the sixth blind man, feeling a leg. "An elephant is a tree trunk." "What a bunch of twerps!" sneered the last blind man, feeling the tail. "I'll tell you what an elephant really is. It is a kind of fly whisk. I know, I can feel it." "Rubbish, it's a snake." "Can't be, it's a jar." "No way, it's a—" And the blind men started arguing so heatedly and all at the same time that the words melted together in one loud and long yell. As the insults flew, so did the fists. Though the blind men weren't quite sure who they were hitting, it didn't seem that important in the fury of the fracas. They were fighting for principle, for integrity, for truth. Their own individual truth, that was. While the king's soldiers were separating the blind and bruised brawlers, the crowd in the stadium was mocking the silent, shamefaced ministers. Everyone who was there had well understood the point of the king's object lesson. Each one of us can know only a part of the whole that constitutes truth. When we hold on to our limited knowledge as absolute truth, we are like one of the blind men feeling a part of the elephant and inferring that their own partial experience is the truth, all else being wrong. Instead of blind faith, we can have dialogue. Imagine the result if the 7 blind men, instead of opposing their data, had combined their experience. They would have concluded that an elephant is something like a huge rock standing on 4 stout tree trunks. At the back of the rock is a fly whisk, on the front a large water jar. At the sides of the jar are 2 palm leaf fans, with 2 ploughs towards the bottom and a long python in the middle. That would not be such a bad description of an elephant, for one who will never see one. Author's note. This story is based on Udana, Chapter 6, Sutta number 4.